Man, it's easy to spend money. Do you find yourself wondering where your money went by the end of the month and how you can afford to live on your own? They say that this is even the new $1 bill. You're not alone. With rising costs, managing finances can feel impossible. But there's hope. In this video, I'll share a free weekly budget tool that will help you track your spending and make adjustments before it's too late. Check the description for the download link and start using it today. Welcome to the Adulting Academy, your go-to channel for mastering real-world skills from resumes to budgets. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out. The cost of everything is shocking. Many young adults just starting out wonder if they'll ever be able to afford living on their own.
Can somebody explain to me in crayon eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
Okay, Nick, since you asked, the reason why you can't afford to live and you're making pretty good money in crayon eating terms is because you're spending too much money. Stop spending money. Others struggle just to get by month to month. This is one of those things they just don't teach you in school, but they should. How to manage your money. With debit cards and mobile devices, it's easy to spend money without even realizing how much you're spending. When you open your wallet and you see $5, you know that's all you have. Or if there's nothing left, you know you can't spend anymore. But with a debit card or a phone, the money leaves without you really even noticing. Now that's where budgeting and tracking expenses really come in. Now I've created a simple weekly budget spreadsheet that you can download and start using right now. Now let's walk through it and I'll show you how keeping an eye on your money allows you to make adjustments before it's too late. In times of high inflation, you have two choices: make more money or spend less. Now, while making more money can be challenging, we'll focus on how to watch your spending and control where your money goes. Let's dive into this tool and I'll show you how to make your budget and track your weekly spending. The dollar amounts I'll be using are from my cost of living calculator, which you can find here in this video. All right, let's jump right in and get started with this weekly budget worksheet. This worksheet serves two purposes. One, it can help you create your budget so you know about how much money you plan to spend and how much money you plan to bring in. But it also helps you keep track of your weekly expenses, how much you're actually spending. And that's the place where most of us get lost and we don't do it. It's so easy to spend money with our phones now, with a debit card, that we don't even have to, we just hold it up there and it takes the money right out of our account. The money leaves and we get to the end of the month and we wonder, where did it go? So this worksheet will help you not only plan your money with the budget, but it'll also help you track where that money is going so you can make changes as you go along. So let's get right in. For this worksheet, I'm using a lot of the dollar figures that I use in the cost of living calculator from a few videos back that you can find right here. But again, so we're going to say we're making $18 an hour and we're working a 40-hour week. And I did take taxes out of that. So that's about $650 a week that we're planning on making based on that thing. You got to make sure you're factoring in your taxes and your other fees that they're taking out of your check. And that can vary. Your hours may change a little bit from week to week. So, but this is what we're planning on and what we're budgeting. I made this easy. A lot of times in accounting class, they teach you it's income and expenses when you're making a budget. For our purposes, it's money in adds and money out takes away. So those are the two factors we're going to figure out. So when you take this worksheet of your own, you're going to fill out just the yellow areas. And you can see I've got a budget example, but I've also got a budget worksheet. And this budget worksheet has a tab or a worksheet for each week of the month. Some months have 4 weeks, some have 5. So for the purpose of this, I use 4.3 whenever we're coming up, taking a monthly figure and coming up with the weekly figure from that. So rent is due monthly, right? So in this example, we're going to pay $1,000 a month rent. That's $231 a week. And it's important for us to look at this on a weekly basis because that's how we're getting paid and that's where our other expenses are going. So as we get closer to the end of the month and rent's coming due, we can know if we need to adjust our spending in other areas. Electricity for this purpose, we're going to say it's $150 a month. which is $35 a week. We don't have to worry about water. That's covered in the rent. And then our internet is going to be $75 a month, which is $17 a week. For food and groceries, again, I planned on using like $400 a month. So we're going to say that's $100 a week. Miscellaneous household, that's going to be your paper goods, deodorant, toilet paper, and all that kind of good stuff. For this example, we're going to say we're spending $25 a week is what we've planned. Again, these are your numbers. Put in your real budget based off what you've spent. The first one may be a little bit hard, but then the next month you can take your actual results and put those numbers in to get a realistic budget of what you're going after. And remember, the goal of this is for your money in to be greater than your money out, equal to or greater than. We really don't even want equal to, we want greater than. Let's move on down to cell phone. So for our cell phone bill, we're going to say that's $140. I know that could be higher or could be lower. And that's it's an opportunity to save money as well. So that's $32 a week. Car insurance, for this example, we're going to say that's $150 a week. $150 a month, which is $35 a week. We don't have a car payment, which is a good thing. You don't want a car payment. We're driving around a paid-for, reliable car, and that we're saving some money right there. That you'll see, would make this budget really tough to meet if we had a car payment. Now, gas and transportation. For this, we're going to say we spend about $150 a month. Divide that by the 4.3 weeks, and that's going to be about $38 a week that we're spending on gas or public transportation. We don't have a student loan, which is a good thing. We don't have credit card debt, but if you do, there's a place for you to put that in here. Now, we get into areas, I call this flex areas or makeup areas. So these are areas that if you're running tight and you spent too much money in other places, and then this is the places you can adjust and try to make up for your budget. So in this case, we're going to say eating out, we budgeted $225 a month or $57 a week, which you think about that, that's less than $10 a day for coffee or grabbing lunch or grabbing a dinner. That's not very much. So that's probably on the low side. Entertainment, we're saying $150 for the whole month. That may be a little bit high, but that's only $35 a week. So again, that's our budget. Hobbies, we're not going to budget any money for hobbies. That could be your golf or tennis or pickleball or whatever you may be into. And then you have your emergency fund. So we're going to say $25 a week for our emergency fund. So now what we've done is, and gym, I'm sorry. So we've got weekly gym, and we're going to say that's $40 or about $9 a week. So now we've created our budget. We have our budget, and you can see my total expenses is $639, and I brought in $650. So I saved $11 that week. Woohoo! Now that's very close, but we did save some money, and we've covered all of our expenses. If this is over right here, something's wrong, and you've got to go back and lower your budget amounts to make it fit your income. So very important. We did come in with less expenses more than our budget than we brought in. So that's a good thing. You've always got to make sure that happens. So if this was $650 or more, we would have to go back through and adjust our budget to try to lower our costs. So now let's look at our actual expenses. What did we actually spend? So let's say in this example, we had a day off, or we were sick, or someday for some reason we didn't get paid quite that $650. Our check only came out and it was $630. And that can happen. And you've got to, what the variables are, and you've got to plan for that, and you've got to adjust for that. All right. So now we go down to our food and groceries. So let's say you stocked up a little bit that first week and you spent $120 on groceries. Miscellaneous household didn't have quite as many expenses as that, so you only spent $20 in actual expenses. Now gas, your gas, let's say it's going up. So let's say you spent $45 on gas. Eating out. Again, so you had your friends wanted you to go get out with them and have some drinks and hamburgers, or Friday night, or you had that extra coffee during the morning, and you spent $60 that week on eating out. Entertainment, you went to a movie and had some food at the movie. So let's say you spent that whole $35. And then we did put that money aside for our emergency fund. Now let's see what it does. All right. Now you can see what we just did. Our actual expenses, we just spent $25 more than we brought in, which is not good. So yeah, that's we spent $25 more. We brought in $630 and we spent $655 that week. We went in the hole. Now we had a little bit of money in our bank account to cover that, but if we didn't, we'd start making debt, credit card debt, which is not good. Or if we keep this trend up every day of the week, we're going to be negative, and that's something you don't want to get into. So let's go back and look at this scenario one more time, and we're going to tweak these numbers to make sure that we left ourselves a cushion so that doesn't happen, right? Because our income can change. It could go up, it could go down. Every week, something could happen here on some of these variables, and you've got to be able to know that ahead of time to make adjustments so you don't spend too much money. That's the whole purpose of this. Everybody thinks I can't afford this, I can't afford that, but it's all about how we spend our money. It's not always how much comes in, it's how you spend it and where we can control it. So let's go back to these controllables first. So we said our eating out and our coffee. So we knew we were going to make less money this week. So we only spent $40 on eating out. Entertainment, we decided, not to do anything that week, or maybe we rented a movie or whatever. I don't know. So let's say that was only $20. Now you can see just from those two changes of eating out less, spending less money on eating out, and a little bit less on entertainment, we now have a $10 surplus for that week. So instead of being negative, we've now saved $10 that can carry over to the next week in case the expenses don't equal out. Pretty easy again. So let's just look at again. These are the areas right down here that we can make up some ground, make up some money if the expenses elsewhere don't add up. So let's just say we didn't eat out. We didn't have any entertainment, right? So now look at that. Now we save $30. Let's say if you only ate out once, that's going to be probably about $20. Now you save $50. And again, all these other ones held the same. So you made up for spending a little bit more at the grocery store and making a little bit less. So you can see that's an example, real life example of how you can adjust and make plans week to week, whether your income varies or your expenses vary. The big thing is not knowing, right? If you don't know where your money's going, you're going to have a problem at the end of the month. You're not going to be able to afford your rent. You're not going to be able to afford your utilities. You're not going to be able to afford buying groceries, right? You've got to know where your money's going. Use this worksheet to be your tool to control your money, to know where your money's going, okay? Very simple, make adjustments. So let's just, one more example, hang with me here. And all this is, again, you can use this worksheet starting today. Let's say we had a good week. We made $660, okay? And let's say we spent less on our groceries that week. We spent $90 on our groceries. We spent, we'll keep that, $20. Gas, we'll say we spent $30. We didn't drive as much, but we did eat out quite a bit. So let's give our whole budget to eating out. And we went to one movie, so we'll put $15 in there. So you can see with that, we saved $70. Again, if there's any other categories that I didn't include on here that you want to account for all your money in and account for all your money out. Here's lines right here where you can add that and you can make this worksheet yours. If you need any help, give me a holler, drop me a line, and I can definitely help you out with that. But again, leave me a comment if you have problems getting your money to stretch for the month. That's what we're here for. This is, again, a basic. Once you choose your career and you start working, you've got to know where your money's going. The earlier you learn this of controlling your money, being able to track your money and know where you're spending it, you're that much farther ahead. Now, as you make more money, you'll be able to save more money. You'll be able to afford more things and do more. And that's the goal of it all, right? We don't want to work our whole lives. We want to be able to do things we enjoy and live life. This worksheet lets us see where our money's going so we can plan it and put it in the right spot. Budgeting and, more importantly, tracking your spending is the key to financial freedom. Remember, if you don't control your money, it will control you. Don't let that happen. No matter what income level, without understanding and controlling your spending, you'll always feel behind and overwhelmed. Watch our next video to learn how the cost of living calculator can help you figure out exactly how much you need to make to achieve your financial goals.